10 races down, 1 to go. All roads through season number 6 have led to here. After 123 kilometers, a champion will rise from the heavenly cornfields of the Hawkeye State. Hi, hello, and good evening, race fans. It's a beautiful night in Newton, Iowa, as we welcome you to the Iowa Speedway for the 11th and final race of Season 6 of the Fuel Grand National Series, the Iowa Corn 123K. Welcome, everybody, to tonight's live intercast here on the North American Sim Racing Network. My name is Trey Wright, and it all comes down to 88 laps in the heart of Jasper County, Iowa. 2 drivers are in the hunt for the Season 6 championship, the 1 of Apollo Hyde and the 37 of Vincenzo Focusato. How do we get here, you might ask? The answer is simply been a dogfight as we see the number 37 Momo Mazda. That'll be driven by Vincenzo Focusato here this evening, and Apollo Hyde right behind him in the 1 machine as practice has concluded. We'll get to qualifying here right here and right
Drivers,
now.
to your cars.
But like we said, how do we get here, you might ask? The answer is simply a dogfight. Focusato won the season opener at Anchorage, but it was Hyde who'd rattled off 4 wins straight to settle herself in the points lead. After 5 races ran, Focusato then notched 2 wins at Atlanta and Daytona in rounds 6 and 7, but neither of those drivers have been to victory lane since that fateful last lap in Daytona. And the fight has been in Hyde's favor, as it remains that way coming into the season finale here at Iowa for the Iowa Corn 123K. She leads Focusato by 21 points coming into tonight, meaning Focusato needs to finish 5 spots better than Hyde to win the championship by 4 points. Below them, sitting 3rd, 4th, and 5th in the point standings, though they are mathematically locked out of championship contention, it's still a fight and fierce battle for 3rd, with Tate Dorsey, Tyler Stallhood, and Ike Durbin separated by about 20 points each, making that a volatile points battle as well. They'll have to keep tabs on this evening. Nikki Conti is on the outside looking into the top 5, 29 points separating her from Ike Durbin. And so on and so on. Driving the preferred line at Iowa Speedway is like crafting the perfect diamond. It is very difficult and full of pressure, but when you find it, it is like a gift from God. We're ready to see what these drivers can do here in the heart of corn country. And right now, Zach Rogers leads the way in qualifying at the moment. But of course, we'd like to thank everybody for so much so far here this season. We're broadcasting the back end of season number 6 of the middle season of the 2025 Fuel Grand National Series. Championship night here, live on YouTube, live on the North American Sim Racing Network. Glad to have everybody aboard. Glad to have everybody on here. Getting set for one final race here. And of course, this is not our only race of the week, as the Fuel Sportsman Series will kick back up here in just a couple of days. 2 days to be exact, live from SoCal, the Auto Club Speedway. That'll be fun. Apollo Hyde looking to get back-to-back championships here in Fuel. Won the Fuel Sportsman Championship a race early a couple of weeks ago. I can't believe that July is already flying by. I think that was, July 1st that we did that race? Probably a little bit sooner, probably one of the last days in June. But nonetheless, set to be a good one here this afternoon. The qualifying order so far shows Zach Rogers on the pole. He won at Indianapolis last week in the number 97 Red Bull machine. To the outside so far, a newcomer, Helene Sims, driving the Granger Chevrolet. Happy hour has been complete. Qualifying has been complete. We'll take a look at the standings for qualifying right now. Zach Rogers on the pole position with Helene Sims rounding out the front row. Apollo Hyde and Vincenzo Focusato, 3rd and 4th to make up row number 2. Tate Dorsey and Nikki Conti round out the top 6. Keith Hughes, Ike Durbin, Davy Barbosa, and Brendan Whitford, the top 10. Rich Roy, Crystal Bennett, Blake Warren, Emmy Schizzato, Trek Togger, the top 15. Tanner Williams and Bill Turner round out the cars that took times. Tyler Stallhood did not complete a lap in that number 7 machine. Neither did a couple other drivers as well. We've got 5 minutes remaining here in here in happy hour. There is Keith Hughes' machine, the Buc-ee's Honda Accord. Won the last Sportsman race that we had a couple of weeks ago. I think this is the first time since Chicago Street Course that Hughes has been on the racetrack. There's Tate Dorsey's number 6 machine. Getting a couple other drivers that are coming out here for happy hour. There is Davi Barbosa coming back after a 1-week suspension after an incident at Dover, and he's going to slide that 87 Busch Light car through the corner. Ike Durbin already around there on the 86. But there is the lady of the hour so far, Apollo Hyde. See what she is able to do here tonight. Her 88 laps will be ran. A couple of cars going around. That's Trek Togger spinning out here in happy hour. No sign of Vincenzo Falcosato quite yet. Schizzato will come down the pit lane there in car number 42. Also no Kirsten Bell this evening. A couple of drivers not slated on the entry list so far. Don LaPrade not slated either. Neither is RJ Bishop or Luis Garces. Keon Daly is not here. Crystal Bennett is. Tala Aziz also not on the points pylon. Newcomer, there's that 06 car of Helene Sims driving a Chevrolet. Looked really good in qualifying. He promptly gets spun by Apollo Hyde, and Sims will flip that 06 machine upside down. Happy hour so far. Zach Rogers with the pole position, like we said. Only driver on the grid to hit a sub-22 second time. There, not Schizzato. Trying to see if Zach Rogers is out on the racetrack quite yet. There he is, that number 97 car. A la Shane Van Gisbergen. Of course, SVG getting his first ever oval win yesterday evening at the Charlotte Motor Speedway's Bandolero facility. Barbosa will once again spin that 87 car around. About a minute 50 to go here in happy hour. But again, set to be a fantastic race. We thank everybody for all the support that we've gotten here so far in the opening stages of the Fuel Racing League here on the North American Sim Racing Network. Glad to have everybody aboard. There's Blake Warren sporting a brand new scheme this weekend, driving the number 8 Budweiser Speedway Series machine. Of course, the Bristol Speedway Series kicking off here between the Cincinnati Reds and I can't remember who's the other team in that battle. We play at the Bristol Motor Speedway here this weekend. I cannot believe that it's already the first weekend of August coming up here soon. Speedway Classic between the Atlanta Braves and the Cincinnati Reds, held in Bristol, Tennessee. 45 seconds to go here in happy hour, and we're going to send it downstairs for a couple of moments while we get everything situated. But we're going to take a quick break before we get the action going here in Newton, Iowa for the season finale of the Fuel Racing League's Grand National Series.
Drivers, to your cars.
Drivers have been called to their cars. We're ready to turn them on and grid them up here for the season finale at Iowa. As everybody gets gridded up, we'll send it downstairs for the most famous words in motorsport to kick off the season finale of season number 6 here, the Iowa Corn 123K.
Drivers, start your engines!
And the engines roar to life here in Newton, Iowa. We are ready to go here for 88 laps. Zach Rogers and Helene Sims in row number 1. Apollo Hyde and Vincenzo Sfocasato in row number 2. Taking a look at the race analysis, 88 laps, point of no return, lap 84. And we're already going to be getting to the green flag here in just a couple of moments. Turning it downstairs, and green flag is in the air. We're underway here in Iowa. And sideways goes Brendan Whitford in the 131 machine. Only a single car accident so far. Zach Rogers leads the way in the 97 machine. And everybody got jumbled right on the start. Rogers leads the way, and Apollo Hyde out in front by a wide margin over Vincenzo Sfocasato. I don't think Sfocasato got quite the start that he wanted. Right now, green flag all the way out, and 3 cars all underneath of a blanket right now. Here for this race lead. Apollo Hyde just needed to run this race. She has been saying all season long, especially over these last couple of weeks, to stay ahead of the 37 car, and she has done dividends so far, and right now she's 0.02 of a second behind Zach Rogers, looking for 2 wins in a row. He gets into the outside wall, so does Apollo Hyde. Here comes Hyde trying to get down to the low side. To go through turn 4, a little bit of an ARCA cam there, and here comes Hyde down low, trying to get a little bit of a ledge underneath of Zach Rogers. Rogers, however, will hold serve. Right now, 18 cars were able to make it off of the grid. Tyler Stallhood, starting in the back in the 7, got caught up in that jam up. Somebody going around, it's Davi Barbosa. I believe it's just a single car spin, and it indeed is. Barbosa coming back after a 1-week suspension last week. Not the start that he'll want there in that 87 Bush Farm Rescue Chevrolet. He'll be back there with Brendan Whitford. A couple of stragglers towards the back. Rich Roy and Bill Turner along the 84. Crystal Bennett did not get the good jump that they wanted. Neither did Schizzato or Trek Togger. Ike Durbin back in here behind Nicky Conti, Blake Warren. Right now, rounding out the top 7. Sfocasato back down in 6th. Keith Hughes in 5th. How about this Helene Sims? Trying to get around Tate Dorsey for 4th, and he will. Rather make that 3rd. As Tanner Williams has been caught here, 8 laps into the contest, and the 33 machine moves up high. Here comes Sims down to the low side, nearly got in the back end of the 33. Williams moves up the racetrack, no harm, no foul, and Dorsey trying to find a ledge around him. Dorsey has had a pretty good season so far. Like we said, he is in a battle for 3rd. All. Zach Rogers so far, the opening 9 laps in this race. now that we do have a moment, we are going to take another look at our race analysis here. Like I said, 19 cars starting. Underneath of the 7 car goes the 97, but again, tire wear is not going to mean a whole lot here. You see these guys can do about 60 laps on tires. The fuel is going to be the biggest thing. Again, it's a short track. It's classic short track racing. Zach Rogers right now opening up that gap over Apollo Hyde by more than a couple car lengths here. An eighth of the way through tonight's race this time around. Rogers getting it done right now. A little bit of a jam up on the start. And a little bit of a jam up on our broadcast as well. We know that. Couldn't exactly hear our voice in the intro over the music. That's why just trying to get things done a little bit at the 11th hour. Trying to work out the kinks here when we're going live. And trying to be able to get a live production done. For the first time, instead of pre-recording everything. Got a couple of the pre-recorded segments in. But nonetheless, battle for the first spot, the top spot continues. Rogers that time surrendering the lead by about, 15 hundredths of a second. Here comes Hyde. She might have a run going through the corner, a little bit squirrely going through 2. Hyde is going to be right on the back end of this 97 car, going around through the corner. She might have a ledge. She's not. The caution flag has come out here. And Tanner Williams getting around with Emmy Schizzato. Schizzato got to put on the brakes to avoid getting in everybody else, and the caution flag out for the first time here this evening at Iowa. Schizzato was running in the 10th position at the time, got caught up with the lap car of Tanner Williams. Doesn't look like those two are going to have too much damage. Zach Rogers will lead the field down the pit area. Rogers in car number 97 leads the field down. Schizzato will stay out. Will come around as the wave-around car, and we're going to have to see. Oh, Bill Turner missed pit lane. You saw it right at the top of your screen there. Blake Warren will stay out to inherit the race lead. Zach Rogers, he drove through about 16 pit boxes, but I don't think that rule applies here. Sims slid through his pit box. He's got to get back into there very, very quickly. 4 tires going all the way around on that 97 Red Bull Camaro. He's out and away. Oh, and Keith Hughes into the one machine of Hyde. Apollo Hyde getting turned around off of the pit lane. Hughes just trying to get out of his box, and that was nearly a disaster there. But while we do have a brief moment, we are going to go ahead and take a look and see what happened to Emmy Schizzato and Tanner Williams to put us under the caution flag for the first time this evening. Taking a look at it on your screen, and Schizzato up through the corner. I think Williams has tried to jam on the brakes, but accidentally got in the back of the 42 car. Both of them slid up the racetrack. Thank you, Pole, for being in the way. And nothing either of them could do. Our first multi-car accident of the evening here at Iowa. We'll get another look at it. Schizzato going down to the low side there in the 42. And just gets run right in the rear. Nothing that either of those two could really do. It's a tough break for both of them. Schizzato coming off of the pit lane. Tanner Williams getting ready to grid up. But Blake Warren, the only car to stay out after that accident. We're going to see if new tires are going to be better than old tires. See if we'll get the one to go signal this time around. I imagine that we will. And we indeed will. Warren will take the outside lane. So will Apollo Hyde. Keith Hughes will take it down to the low side. Zach Rogers will go down low as well in the 97. little bit interesting of a scenario we got here. We mentioned a little bit last week, and we misidentified Zach Rogers as a racer for the Hobo Racing League. Actually, the color commentator, along with Andrew Miller, the Top Dragster Racing Network. He's hopping out of the sim rig and into the race car, hopping out of the broadcast booth and into the race car. Did pretty well so far. See what he will do once we go back to the green flag here in just a couple of moments. Rogers, Warren, Hughes, Hyde, Dorsey, your top 5. Turn them on, grid them up once again. Pace car down the pit area. Here we go. Green flag, back out, and a good run on the inside there for Rogers. Warren spun the tires a little bit. That'll give second to Keith Hughes. Here comes Hyde. Swing that one machine back down to the low side, and she's looking for the crossover. Warren did not get a good jump, and it looks like new tires are going to be the name of the game here. Hyde down to the low side. Here comes Sims trying to split the gap. Sims still trying to make it 3 wide as Warren and Togger both into the outside wall. Togger out of control. He'll keep that 60 car away from everybody else. And Zach Rogers saying bye-bye to the rest of this field. Hyde will go back to second, and it's a hornet's nest on back going for third. Hughes just trying to power that 82 car around. Remember, he got into the back of the one machine off of the pit area, and Sims trying to go underneath of that Bucky's Accord. You hear the 82 sliding the tires just a little bit. He gets up into the outside wall, and that'll give another spot to Dorsey down to the inside. That is the battle for the top 5. Focusato just trying to get up there to Apollo Hyde. Again, Hyde, you're just trying to stay in front of the 37 car. Already dodged one bullet after making some contact with Keith Hughes, as Hughes will fall back into the clutches of the 37. That'll be the battle for 5th on back. Back in here, a couple stragglers towards the tail end of the field. There is Tyler Stallhood, and it really does not go, it's really not said enough how much Tyler really does for the Fuel Racing League. Of course, the owner of Fuel, certainly just putting a ton of time and effort into this league. Glad to be on board for this league as well. There's a car going around. That's Ike Durbin. He'll spin in turn 4, and it looks like just a single car incident so far. And it indeed is. We remain green. Durbin going around. Tanner Williams plowing through the corner just a little bit. Try not to cause the second caution of the night once again. We remain green as everybody will move through turn number 4, the smoke-clad 4th corner. Here comes Focusato in this battle for 5th. Mazda versus Honda. A couple of Japanese manufacturers going after it. Focusato will break inside the top 5, but he has got a long way to go to get around that one machine. Currently, he's running about 2 seconds back of Apollo Hyde. Hyde with 5 wins, rather 4 wins on the season so far. Love to be the winner and the champion here in Newton, Iowa. Still a long way to go in this one. But again, Zach Rogers, like we were talking about, typically broadcast for the Hobo Racing League, and they had their Indianapolis broadcast yesterday evening. Shout out to the Hobo Racing League. A lot of good guys over there. Very, very chaotic and a very fun league to call. Been doing a race or two for them in the commentary booth. Zach and Andrew, fantastic guys, both on and off the racetrack. It's fun to see Rogers zooming around here at the Iowa Speedway. He has been doing pretty well so far, to say the least. Now Sims right on the back end of this one machine. Going up through the corner. Sims on the back end, Apollo Hyde. Let's see if that 06 is able to get around. You know what? We have got actually gonna, that's way too loud for everybody at home on YouTube. I forgot the space bar. Not only is for the onboard audio, but it's also how you see the chat bar. So that's something we'll have to fix for Friday's Sportsman Series broadcast, as Williams up the racetrack in the 33. It's currently the last car of almost about everybody. I'm trying to see if he is where he is running. I don't even see him on the pylon right now. That is perplexing. He is 2 laps down. I'm not sure if he's got a black flag or something or other, as Sims into the outside wall as the field tries to get around Bill Turner. Another car going around Davi Barbosa. Spins that 87 car around. For the second time tonight, Tate Dorsey knocks down the wall off turn 4. And it's a 3-car battle for the top spot here, 3/8 of the way through tonight's contest. Everybody came down on lap 17, and they can do about 50, 55, 57 laps on fuel. Trying to see the specifics, as underneath of Apollo Hyde goes Sims. And Sims is going to look for this race lead here. Rogers will shut the door going through 3 and 4. It is in fact about 57 laps here on fuel. These guys came down to lap 17, so they're not going to be able to make it to the end if this race goes caution-free. Expect these guys to go down at around lap 74, but we're still about 50 laps away from that point. Here comes the 06 of Sims underneath of Rogers for the top spot. Going to get a little bit of a push from Apollo High. They're door-to-door through turns 4. Sims underneath of Zach Rogers, just trying to get the slide job here. Does he have Rogers clear it off for the corner? Looks like they do. Rogers fighting back hard to the outside as the field will come up onto Trek Togger. Togger moves out of the way. Sims just trying to clear the 97 car. 3-way battle for the race lead here. And how about that 06? Elaine Sims is trying to take that race lead away, and they're still side by side. And Apollo Hyde is just hoping that these guys knock into one another so she could potentially take this race lead away from both of them. And this is a fantastic side-by-side battle over the last 3 miles or so. Rogers not giving up. Sims not giving up. Rogers still going to have the run off of the outside. He's got the momentum, but that 06 car running that preferred line here at Iowa. I think Helene might have the edge off the corner. Rogers goes up the racetrack, and clear is the Granger 06 Camaro. Rogers still fighting back, and Hyde, Mr. Mark going into turn 1. Now the fight is on for second as Rogers showing a chink in the armor there in the 97 as Helene Sims will go to the race lead as we approach the midway point through tonight's race. Sims has got the race lead, and Zach Rogers trying to take it back. Williams once again will be ran up here by the leaders. I don't know why the ticker is not showing the 33 car. He gets very, very squirrely coming out of the corner. It's a shame as well, and the caution flag has come out here. Oh, Blake Warren nearly going upside down on the back straightaway, and it looks like he was involved with Crystal Bennett. Back there, entering turn number 3, caution number 2 of the evening has come out, and it couldn't come at a better time for these leaders. It does indeed look like we're not going to get green flag pit stops here tonight. These guys mathematically being able to make it to the end here on a full tank of fuel. Blake Warren in that Speedway Classic, the MLB Speedway Classic machine, causing the caution. Here we go. This will likely be the money stop here for all of these drivers. 12 cars on the lead lap out of 18 on the pylon. Tyler Stallhood has moved on up to 8th. Brendan Whitford to 9th. A couple of big movers in this contest. Shout out Nicky Conti up in 6th. We're going to focus with the 06 machine, as Helene Sims will go into the pit area. We're going to see if we see any strategy from anybody here. Sims first one on the jack there for the left sides. Sims able to get out. Rogers will take second. Well, I believe Dorsey. Did Dorsey take third away? I believe it was Apollo High. No, Tate Dorsey will take third. And Vincenzo Focusato will take 5th away from Nicky Conti. Apollo Hyde will fall back to 4th here. Blake Warren will come down the pit lane. We'll see what happened with Warren here. Oh, Lord. So Warren, oh, that was just a warp there with the 84 and sideways on the pit wall, a la Casey Kane. And upside down goes the Speedway Classic machine on 2 tires, and that was just an unfortunate warp there for Warren. We're going to take another look at it, because goodness gracious. I haven't seen a flip like that in a hot minute. I haven't seen a warp like that in a hot minute either. We're going to rewind this back as far as we can to find that 84 car. We really can't find the 84 car, but we'll focus along with Warren before we go back green flag racing. Yeah, Bennett just came out of nowhere and RKOing the 8 as Warren goes upside down. Flips that 8 machine. He is able to get back on all 4 wheels. Tough break for Warren, unfortunately. But now back to the top. Field gets the 1 to go signal. Elaine Sims takes the outside. Zach Rogers takes the inside. Dorsey and Hyde in row 2. Focusato Conti row 3. Keith Hughes and Tyler Stallhood in row 4. Brendan Whitford, Ike Durbin, row 5 to round out the top 10. Blake Warren is still in this race despite going upside down. He is alongside Rich Roy back in row number 6. Davi Barbosa and Bill Turner in row 7. Row 8, Tanner Williams and Trek Togger. Row number 9 will be Crystal Bennett and Emmy Schizzato. Field will roll through turn number 4. Roll onto the back straightaway, or the front straightaway once again. Get this race restarted right at halfway. 44 down, 44 to go. Green flag back into the air, and Zach Rogers gets a heck of a jump there in that 97. He will scoot to the race lead. On the restart, here comes Focusato trying to get underneath of Hyde. Hyde right now with a really good race car, and she's going to be aggressive here in the late stages of this race, in the back end of this race. She's underneath of Tate Dorsey, and Focusato remains in 5th right now. But it is absolutely go time for Focusato. No more pit stops and no more opportunities, as it looks like Warren and Schizzato got into a tussle on the front straightaway. Nonetheless, Zach Rogers back out front there in car number 97. And Sims right on the back end of the 97 car as well. He is absolutely pedaling right now. Fresh sticker Goodyear tires for everybody, and everybody took 4 tires on the grid. 97 car bugging in and out by just a little bit, but he is good to the go here, closing in on 40 laps to go here from Iowa. Rogers through the corner, getting a flyby of the field here. Had a flyby of the field, and the camera decided to not be friendly with us. Sims trying to find a way around that 97 car, and Apollo Hyde still under fire from Dorsey. That's the battle for third right now. Now we'll get the quick flyby of the entire field here. Everybody, all 18 cars running on the racetrack as of right now. Nobody has been knocked out of this race just yet. Dorsey really loose going into turn one. Focusato not able to get there in time. Zach Rogers continues to lead in car number 97. Getting a good look at the packed house here in Newton, Iowa. Tire grandstands filled to the brim. To watch these cars motor around this 9/10 in length facility here in the heart of Jasper County. Zach Rogers trying to get it done as well, but Elaine Sims trying to spoil the party. Trying to win in his first start of the season. Again, these guys came down on lap number 42. They can go about 50 laps, so they are good to the end. Although those Goodyear Eagles are going to be screaming and those gas tanks are going to be thirsty, they can mathematically make it to the end of this contest. But how much do you push the tire wear if you're Helene Sims? We might get that answer now as he's just trying to get a ledge to the inside of Rogers. But again, no more pit stops here unless we get a yellow flag. Schizzato and Blake Warren now in the crosshairs of Rogers. That time by, the gap closed down. 21 hundredths of a second between Rogers and Sims. Again, Apollo High just trying to you just trying to stay ahead of the 37 car. Because right now, that point swing would be 31 points in Hyde's favor. Where she remains right now, and Focusato knows it's go time, but is just trying to dial in that 37 machine. Hyde has been a woman on a mission all throughout this season. Schizzato passed by the leaders, so will Blake Warren. As Rogers and Sims navigate through lap traffic, Warren down to the low side. Sims is still looking to get around this 97 car as Trek Togger see a little bit of damage on the passenger side of that 60 machine. Suburban Cowgirl Steakhouse has been a loyal sponsor for that Togger program. He's put a lap down there in car number 60 and losing a little bit of time that last time by was Sims. 31 laps to go here in season number 6. Rogers trying to plant that 97 car around. A lot of lap traffic up on the chopping block. Williams, Turner, and Roy. Turner all over the place, and he's going to get turned by the 33 right in front of the leaders. Goodness gracious, everybody scattering like ants. Turner facing the wrong direction on the back straightaway. And the caution flag flies with 29 laps to go when we saw that happen live. Bill Turner getting turnt. And that nearly took out everybody. That happened right in front of the leaders. Goodness gracious. And I think Tanner Williams, nothing he can really do. Just trying to dial up the brake bias a little bit more here on this next stop. And here we go. Under 30 laps to go. This will be the money stop. Zach Rogers has dominated this race so far tonight. Helene Sims right behind him. And this is where we're going to see these guys get crafty with their strategies. So everybody comes down the pit lane. Rogers had to back in. That's going to play into Sims' favor. Does anybody take 2 tires is going to be the question. Looks like everybody is going to take 4 here. I think Sims is going to win the race off the pit lane. That was a costly mistake there by Rogers. Sims off the gun first. It's going to be a drag race off, but just barely beating out Helene Sims was Zach Rogers. Red Bull car dodging a bullet right at the end. I don't know, did Sims come off the pit lane first? No, it's going to be Rogers who came off first. But while they get that sorted out, we'll go ahead and take a look at the replay to see what happened here, even though we saw it in real time. Bill Turner, right in front of the leaders, gets punted out of the way there by the 33 of Tanner Williams. That was right in front of Helene Sims. He had to duck and dive out of the way. Emmy Schizzato warping in and out. Nicky Conti was able to get around. The caution flag immediately flying. And that could have been a much more dangerous situation there with Bill Turner facing the wrong direction. We'll get another look at it here in real time. Williams just arca-braking through the corner, and fortunately nobody arca-braked into this accident scene. That could have been very, very disastrous there. Here we go. Coming around to 26 laps to go. Will be 25 to go when they go back underneath of the green flag here. And how about this? It's worked well so far tonight. Why not try it again? Zach Rogers takes the inside. Helene Sims the outside. Dorsey and Hyde, row 2. Focusato Conti, row number 3. Stallhood and Hughes, row 4. Durbin and Barbosa, row number 5. 13 cars remaining on the lead lap. 3 cars took the wave around to get off back onto the lead lap here. 25 lap shootout. And I doubt that we're going to have any more. I doubt that this race is going to go, this 25 lap sprint is going to go completely caution free. Pull them belts tight once again, boys and girls, because it is go time here in Newton, Iowa. Pace car down the pit lane. Rogers and Sims, the 2 dominant cars of the evening. They've been in a dogfight so far. The dogfight commences once again. Green flag back out of the air. Rogers with a good jump on the inside lane once again. Sims fighting back hard on the outside. Dorsey on the inside once again. The battle for the championship heating up as well. Hyde trying to find a way around Dorsey. Dorsey now trying to get for second there around Sims. 24 to go. Rogers is trying to drive that 97 car like he stole it. I saw somebody breaking sideways in the back, but we remain green. All 18 cars still on track. They've been putting on a fantastic show so far this evening, and we're going to get a fantastic finish. Hyde still in front of Focusato. Battle for the championship right there and right now. Hyde is going to have a shot at this race win potentially. Sims very tight through the corner. I think he may have put a little bit too much wedge there in that 06 car. Dorsey in the Spotify 6. Still trying to run back in here. Barbosa down to the low side of Keith Hughes. A little bit of squibbing and squabbing there for Hughes in the 82. He's able to keep that machine straight. That Bucky's Accord looking to do well at Auto Club this Friday night here for the Fuel Racing League Sportsman Series. Battle for the race lead heating up. Back talking about the Fuel Racing League Sportsman Series in just a moment. With Zach Rogers under fire from Helene Sims once again. 20 laps to go in season number 6. Hyde into the outside wall in the 1 machine. Trying to still run that conservative race that they were talking about all season long. Here comes Sims down to the low side. Can't quite get the ledge on the 97, going on to the back straightaway. Hyde a little squirrely out of the corner there in that battle for third. Sims has been just doing a heck of a job planning that 06 car, and the yellow flag flies once again. Not sure who it was. I believe it was Tanner Williams for the third time this evening. But nonetheless, caution number 4 of the night will rack them up once more and send them off. And do these guys come down the pit lane once again with under 20 laps to go for fresh rubber? If I'm Rogers, I'd stay out. That's exactly what they're going to do. Apollo Hyde will come down the pit lane. I think Focusato wanted to stay out as well. There were a lot of cars staying out, and Focusato, I think Vincenzo wanted to stay out there. I think was trying to do whatever the opposite of what the one car did, but Hyde will come down the pit lane. A lot of cars taking the wave around. Blake Warren is in, Brendan Whitford among the drivers that are in here as everybody comes down the pit lane. Take a look and see what happened here to break down the yellow flag for the 4th time this evening. And Tanner Williams up out of the groove there. That Ghazi Racing 33 entry, he goes into the outside wall, and I think he went down. Trek Togger overdrove the corner. Those two collided on the front straightaway right underneath of the flag stand. Yellow flag flying. Togger was able to keep that 60 car straight, and Williams was able to spin it back around, but that was enough to warrant a multi-car yellow flag here to put us under the caution for another short shootout here at Iowa. We'll get another look at it. Getting another look off of the corner. Williams went down. Togger went up. Williams backs that thing down. He is able to bring it back under his own power, but we're going to have another restart here right at the end of this race. Zach Rogers stayed out. Elaine Sims second. Dorsey Durbin will now find his way up to 4th, and going back in here, Apollo Hyde now deep in the field in the one machine with Vincenzo Focusato right behind her. We're going to see how well fresher tires do in lap traffic, but it looks like the top 7 stayed out here. This is where everybody's going to put on the big boy pants. It's choosing time, the choose cone. As David Land would moan in a certain way. Rodgers down low, Sims up high, like we've seen so far all throughout tonight. Dorsey and Durbin, Barbosa and Roy. Your top 6, Apollo Hyde, 4th car on the inside lane, 1st car on Fresh Eagles. The inside of Blake Warren in that 8 machine. Does Hyde have enough time? And what happens? Everybody up in front of Apollo Hyde. This could decide the championship here tonight. Coming around to 14 laps to go in season number 6. Could this potentially be the final caution flag of the evening? We're about to find out. Rogers and Sims through the Reese's restart zone once again. Green flag in the air. Inside lane got a really good jump. Rogers will get it up the racetrack. Wet Nikki Conti and Apollo Hyde on those Fresh Eagles. What is she able to do? Durbin going towards the back. Focusato trying to keep that one car in his crosshairs. Rogers on about 15 lap older tires. And everybody that came down, Barbosa way up the racetrack, Hyde down low. Barbosa real squirrely through the corner in that Busch Light number 87. Squeeze eyed a little bit going through turn 4. Just trying to run her line, especially with Focusado waiting in the wings. Trying to utilize that fresh rubber, but here comes Focusado right on the back end of the 1 car. Barbosa wiggling all over the place. If I'm Apollo, I'm trying to get around this Busch Light Chevy. And she will. Focusado back behind the 1 machine. Does he potentially use the chrome horn to get around Hyde? 1 car nearly going around in the back. That's Sims. Focusado will now get around Davi Barbosa. He runs into the 87. Up the racetrack goes Davi. Does he keep it out of everybody else? He does. Does that warrant a multi? It does not so far. We remain green. To see what if the point of no return. Yeah, point of no return is 5 laps to go. I'm very surprised that did not warrant a multi-car incident. But coming around, 9 laps to go here from Iowa. And it continues to be Zach Rogers just trying to get the job done in car number 97. Elaine Sims to still on his 6. 8 to go here from Newton. Dorsey in 3rd. Apollo Hyde in 4th. Of course, stick around for the post-race interviews here, brought to you by Menards. But right now, it looks like Zach Rogers, pretty good spot to be our first interviewee. Elaine Sims and Tate Dorsey as well, and of course, an interview with the champion, Apollo Hyde, trying to get 3rd away from Dorsey to limit the amount of Menards interviews that we've got post-race. Six to go for Rogers. Sims knows that it's go time and the yellow flag back out. Big crash. Keith Hughes flipping in the 82 car in turn 3. And that was right at the point of no return. The yellow flag flies, and hold on, grab your 6-shooters, boys and girls. We are gonna have a shootout. That was right at the 6 to go point. Yellow flag flying here once again. Pit road is open. No takers this time. What in God's name happened there with Keith Hughes? Grab a look at it here. Goodness gracious. He went flipping down the back straightaway. Oh, it's all gonna start in turn number 2. So Blake Warren gets a little pop from behind from Tyler Stallhood. And Keith Hughes runs right into it. They phase into the wall. Hughes pretty much doing a backflip. Is going to flip down the back straightaway. That looks like Max D doing a 2-wheelie for a brief moment. And he is going to go side over side, end over end. Looking a little bit like Stingray Rob there on the 82 as he goes flipping down the back straightaway. Goodness gracious. Unfortunately, he's going to land on all 4 wheels here. He was able to drive away. We got to get another look at this before we go back to the restart. Following with Keith after that, Blake gets spun around, and that's just a classic NR warp job here online. And that is the scariest crash that I think I've ever seen Keith Hughes go under. Jeez Louise. And hopefully he is going to be okay after that. That is going to set up a shootout here. The tail end of this race, Tyler Stallhood is down the pit lane, a couple more drivers down in the pit area. But I believe that this is going to set up, and it will set up, a 2-lap dash to the end. No green-white checkers from here on out. If you wreck, you wreck. If you flip, you flip. You go into the grandstands. We get the tarps. It's tow car rules. here at Iowa. And there was no other way to settle it down than to have a proverbial green-white checkered here in the final race of season number 6. It has been that kind of season as Apollo Hyde moving back and forth in the one machine. She's phasing in and out with her internet there. But everybody at the choose. Everybody on the inside taking the inside. Everybody on the outside taking the outside. For a 2-lap, just under 2-mile shootout. Zach Rogers looking to go back-to-back to close out the season. Helene Sims looking about 1,000. Tate Dorsey and Apollo Hyde looking to spoil the party. Focusato and Durbin looking to spoil their respective parties as well. 2-lap dash to the end to decide the final winner of Season 6 and to decide a championship. Can Focusato get around Hyde? Can Hyde stay 5 cars in front of the 37 car? Pace car down the pit lane for the final time this evening. Zach Rogers at the control car. Green flag out in the air. 2 to go from Iowa. And a great restart for Zach Rogers. Sims spun the tires on the outside. Everybody beating and banging off of one another. Here comes Hyde and Dorsey. Hyde and Dorsey battling for third on back, coming around the penultimate corner. White flag is out. Final time around Iowa for Zach Rogers. He will get the white flag. Final lap in Season 6. Hyde out in front of Focusato. Focusato throwing everything, including the kitchen sink at Apollo Hyde. Doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Crash behind. Nobody cares. Out of turns 3 and 4, Zach Rogers, 2 wins in a row in the back end of the season. He wins the season finale at Iowa, and back-to-back championships for Apollo Hyde. She will win the Season 6 title for the Fuel Grand National Series. How about that? Zach Rogers gets the win, and Apollo Hyde will get third. For a podium finish, everybody giving taps to Apollo Hyde for officially clinching the championship. Zach Rogers will burn it down. Sunoco fueling victories here since the first ever seasons. Apollo Hyde will go to the champion's circle. Zach Rogers burning down those Goodyear Eagles in that number 97 machine. It looks like we might get a dual burnout here between the winner and the champion. I don't know what Crystal Bennett is doing as well, but we're going to get a 3-way burnout. I believe that's the Rookie of the Year battle for Crystal Bennett. That would be my only guess there as well. But Apollo Hyde, the champion. Zach Rogers, the race winner. What a season. I know we only did 5 races this season, but still, absolutely, what a season for everybody involved. And plenty to talk about here, plenty to go over. But we are going to take a short break here, and when we come back, we are, in fact, going to get our post-race interviews with everybody, but taking a look at the official standings. Zach Rogers, Helene Sims, and Apollo Hyde, your top 3. Tate Dorsey and Ike Durbin with a top 5 finish. Focusato, Conti, Whitford, Warren, and Bennett, your top 10. Rich Roy, Tyler Stallhood, Davi Barbosa, Emi Skizada rounded out the cars, all on the lead lap. Keith Hughes, Trek Tugger, Bill Turner, and Tanner Williams rounding out all 18 cars. We'll step aside for a couple of moments, and when we come back, it's our post-race interviews here after a chaotic and fun season finale here in Newton, Iowa at Iowa Speedway.
do second place first or coming back. Up to you. I don't mind. Yeah, Jolene should be back here in a minute if you want to do them first.
And we are back here for our post-race interviews after the season finale here at Iowa, and we're going to start off with the runner-up finisher, driving the number 06 Granger Chevy Camaro. Jolene Sims, congratulations on your first ever race here on the Fuel Racing Network, and running up towards the front pretty much all night. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So starting things off, it's your first ever race here on the Fuel Racing League. Really, how did you really find out about the league? How are you able to really just come here tonight?
So I found about this league, because I wasn't exactly like asking my friends about it, but I was looking for an open setup league because I know you could do that in NR Online, but like, I just looked out for it and I found it. I found here. I was pretty busy for a while, so I didn't really make any time to make any races yet. But I was like, I felt really ready and up for it tonight, and I'm so happy it went well. This is the first time I ever made my own setup, so it went pretty well for me. Yeah, it was a lot of fun racing with you guys. You guys are pretty clean.
Certainly was, and I think everybody is going to be wondering what your setup was, and if they could get a taste of that as well. So you're running the race, and you're running up towards the front. What did you really have under the hood setup wise, in terms of just you're talking about that open setup? What are you really running a little bit, and how are you able to really keep up with Zach Rogers and Apollo Hyde, two of the most cleanest and greatest drivers we've got here in the Fuel Racing League?
Wow, I'm happy to run up there, but so I did change like quite a bit to make it my own, but I just found a Richmond setup from one of my other leagues, and I kind of just ran with that and messed with it. I always like my cars to be set up looser. This is the first time I've really had to like seriously set up stuff in NR like on my own, but I did quite a little bit of practice to get it like cut sort of on rails through center and um like if you maybe you noticed, but I certainly noticed during the race when I was like driving it. I had to like, I felt like I had to enter like a lot more shallower than anyone else to get the car to turn. And when I tried to copy what Zach did, I think this might be just a skill issue, but I just couldn't do the same thing. So, um, sort of like I was excited about my long run pace though, which is like where I made my one pass for the lead. Um, so like that worked out really well for me. I'm happy about that, but we just didn't get too many long runs, which is okay. But yeah, and I messed up my restart gearing, so yeah, I just didn't really have anything on the restarts, but still a ton of fun. I'm pretty happy with myself.
Certainly was, and of course we talked about it all throughout the week, just how difficult this track is to run, how difficult it is to find the preferred line. What were you really finding marking wise on the track? Where are your really breaking points, and how much off throttle time did you really have?
Um, that's a great question. So, like for me, I I did a little bit of practice. I found my best line to be like an NR. They have like grooves, like I think it's like from the LP files they make the grooves. So I was looking out for those, and my goal there was to aim my car just a little bit below it, and then once my like car like I don't know how to describe it like really well, but as soon as my car like hit the banking and like started like setting into the corner, like that's where it kind of stuck, and that really helped for me for doing like first of all, that made me have like so I could have really good corner entry, which was amazing for me. I had a lot of fun with that. It made me kind of dangerous a little bit. And then I had really good center speed. And then for the exit, I kind of had to back it off a little bit during the center to try and get a good exit and not use up my tires. But like, um, exits were sort of my weak point. Like I would get really tight and use up my right front a lot, but like I got 2/3 of the corner really good, which kept me up front.
You certainly did. And last thing before we'll spring out of here, anybody that you would want to thank or shout out here on the stream?
Um, just thanks to y'all for making this so cool and a very great start to the league. This was sort of me trying to make my good first impression. I've raced in a lot of NR leagues, but like this, I'm not like really accustomed to the community and everyone here, and it's been extremely welcoming. And compared to the, well, not to throw any shade, but compared to the rest of the NR community, you guys seem very chill. And the main reason I do sim racing is just to have fun and try and chill out and like just cool off and have some fun. And I feel like I really found that sort of community here. So just thanks to y'all for making this stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Certainly glad to have you aboard, and you certainly made a great impression on everybody here this evening. That was the driver, the number 06 Granger Chevy Camaro, Jelaine Sims. Congratulations on a runner-up finish.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You as well.
User was moved out of your channel. User was moved to your channel.
And that will bring up the first place driver here, driver and dominator of the last couple of races here in the Fuel Racing League, the number 97 machine of Zach Rogers. Rogers, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's up, man?
Nothing much, so a little bit unusual circumstances like we saw last week. I think the last time you and I talked, we were both running or commentating on the Chicagoland race for the Hobo Racing League, and now a couple of weeks later, you're in victory lane for back-to-back weeks, so congratulations on getting 2 wins to close out the season here for Season 6.
Yeah, I mean, happy to back up my win here at Iowa from a year ago in Season 3, it was. Not as dominating as Season 3, but still a very good showing, I will say.
It certainly was. So meant to ask you this at Indianapolis last week. You know, you're out of the cockpit for a little bit here in the Fuel Racing League. What really made you want to come back for these final 2 races at 2 very technical tracks?
Well, I figured I've got some more free time than I think I have. Planning wise, I do a lot of other extracurriculars outside of obviously working a 9 to 5. And I figured I'd come back and run these last 2 races to, reacquaint myself with some of the drivers here in the league and go for another title run here going into Season 7. Most likely will be my last title run here for the foreseeable future. So figured, it's the end of the year. Why not one more committed title run here at Fuel with these amazing drivers here that we have, and we've got some really good new faces. I was thoroughly impressed by Jolene Sims tonight. I think they just gotta watch the aggression just a little bit. They didn't wreck anybody tonight, which was a great thing, but they just gotta be careful about the dive bomb, and just gotta watch the dive bombing a little bit. But other than that, they were great.
They certainly were, and a really good last couple of races here from pretty much everybody. But we're talking with Jolene during their interview and just how hard of a track Iowa is to run. How are you really able to set up your car to really play to your advantages and being able to run out in front?
Yeah, I mean, it's short track, and short tracks have a lot of dirty air, so you want to set it up to where it's loose enough and clean air that you can hang on to it, and then that way it's not too tight in dirty air when you're behind someone. I wasn't too worried about getting passed by Jolene there at one point in the race, because I was just kind of vibing, and my car wasn't really doing what I wanted it to at the moment. It was getting randomly tight during one stint, and then I tried to raise the track bar click, and that just kind of amplified the looseness once the right rear started to wear. My right rear tire was wearing a little more than the right front. Thus, when I would apply the gas to come off the corner, it would kick out a little bit. So, uh, put that back down and then waited on going back up on the track bar until later. So, ideally here, you want to, the funny thing is like I made it looser than I ran it last year, and I feel like I maybe gained like half a tenth to a tenth on some laps than I would have if I ran my old setup. But I was definitely a little faster in the mid corner, which I think was good for defensive driving.
Certainly was, and like you mentioned, just trying to run for the championship next season for season 7. Taking a look at all these tracks here listed, you got a lot of technical tracks with Darlington, Watkins Glen, Bristol, Michigan, Kansas. The first 5 races, Mid Ohio, one of the I believe is the one of 2 road courses there for season 7. Which track are you looking forward to most next season, and what are your expectations? Just trying to knock down Apollo Hyde as the champion here for Fuel.
Yeah, well, we ran a lot of those tracks in season 4 last fall, and I won at quite a few of them. Had a chance to win at Darlington, but Darlington was a bit of a crapshoot at the end. We couldn't even really go a lap, so it was really ultimately came down to the last time you pit was at Darlington, because you couldn't even get a lap in, and that was back before we did point of no return, 5 to go. So things will maybe be a little bit different at Darlington this time around, depending on how the yellows go. But I've won at all those tracks in my time on the sim. The road courses are especially going to be good tracks for me. I think guaranteed at least top 3, pending any unforeseen circumstances. Won the Glen last year, and won Mid Ohio 2 years ago when we ran it in season 1. So looking forward to those the most. But I love Michigan. I love Kansas. Darlington's fun. Yeah, it's a really solid schedule, especially Homestead, the finale. If we run the same track I that we ran for the season 4 finale, we're going to have a great time there. I was able to do some work back when I was an admin here, and the track I we have for Homestead is really great. So I hope we run it again.
Hopefully we will, and hey, you certainly should be good on the road courses. You got that Shane Van Gisbergen inspired paint scheme there for the 97. Real quick before we get out of Dodge, is there anybody that you want to thank, shout out, any sponsors that you want to thank and shout out for being here tonight?
Yeah, we'll see what number I run next year. I've kind of had a trend where every time I've won a championship here, it's been with a different number. The 97 is the only number I've won 2 titles at here, and that's only because I ran a season of Sportsman when I won a championship with this number in the fall last year. So gonna pick a new number. We'll see what comes up available, but we'll most likely be the same Red Bull paint scheme, and I've also got a really nice Digital Storm car that we didn't dust off for these last 2 races. So, but got to thank my painter Cody Lamas. He's the one behind these masterful paint schemes, and we'll be able to get whatever number we can on this car, and ready for the new season. Got to thank Tyler for the league. Of course, him and Apollo, they do a ton of stuff here. Apollo and all these other drivers here. Of course, Vincenzo, Jolene, to name a few, for being very competitive and keeping me on my toes. Um, last year here at this track, there was no Apollo, there was no Jolene, and a lot of people were running this track for the first time. I was 0.3 of a second faster per lap here last year than the rest of the field, and we thankfully for the field, we had quite a number of yellows, because if we didn't have any yellows last year, I probably would have lapped the whole field. That's how much faster I was in this car. Not to brag, but just a matter of fact of the pace difference. But yeah, I gotta give a special shout out to Randall Coleman. It's his server, so thank you to Randall for allowing Fuel to run on this server, and thank you for the broadcast. And shout out to Apollo on his second championship in a row. He deserves it. He puts in a ton of work, and he's a very unique driver on controller for the sim.
Certainly is, but congratulations once again to you for winning the final 2 races of season number 6, and I'll have to watch out for that car next season, for potentially a championship run next year for you. That was Zach Rogers. Congratulations on your win here tonight in the Iowa Corn 123K.
Thank you, man.
User was moved out of your channel.
That was Zach Rogers, winner of tonight's race, and bring it down to our final user here tonight. Driver of the number 1 machine here. We'll advance to when Apollo Hyde was in the winner's circle here at the end of this race. We'll move to the end.
User was moved to your channel.
And finally, after a little bit of waiting, but I'm sure it was well worth the wait, finishing 3rd on the racetrack and 1st on the points pylon, Apollo Hyde is your Season 7 champion. You got a copy from us here in the broadcast booth?
We certainly do, Trey.
Well, Apollo, first and foremost, congratulations on winning back-to-back championships here over these last couple of weeks. You won the Fuel Sportsman Series Championship, a race early about a month ago, and tonight you're able to hold off a hard-charging Vincenzo Focusato to edge him out for the championship by about 26 points. Take us through, going back, we're going to turn back the clock here by about a month or so. Back to before the Atlanta race, you're rattling off 4 wins in a row, but then Atlanta and Daytona come, and Vincenzo is right back in the thick of the championship battle. What was the mindset coming out of Daytona where he was able to win that race with a last lap pass?
Yeah, the mindset, very simple, was don't have any more bad finishes. We've got, basically we have Chicago. I already know that I'm trash at Chicago. I know that I have no shot. I'm 3 seconds off the pace. I'm not going to do well at Chicago. So that was already going to be completely off the cards. So I basically had it circled on my calendar. We've got Dover, we've got Indianapolis, and we've got Iowa. Iowa is a track that I've produced a race where I led every single lap from start to finish. So I know I'm pretty good there. Dover is one of the tracks where I currently sit on top of the Speed Run NR2003 website. So I know I'm pretty good there. And Indianapolis was a wild card. I never raced at Indianapolis before in NR2003 ever. The last time that I ran at Indianapolis was all the way back in Gran Turismo 5, 2013. So that was a brand new experience to me, but I knew that I was going to be very good at Indy because I was very good at Pocono. And we just rattled off 3 really solid, really consistent races in a row, took home second, took home 3rd, had an outside shot at winning at all 3 of them, but it really didn't matter. All we needed to do was just not have a DNF like we had at Daytona, and we were going to come out as a champion, and that's what ended up happening. We executed the plan perfectly. The plan tonight was honestly to finish in the 3rd position. I didn't really want to mix it up with Zach or Jolene too much because I knew I didn't really have the car to do that. All we needed to do was get to the end, and we got there. So just flawless execution, in my opinion.
You certainly executed well on that front. And, coming into this race tonight, we saw over the last couple of weeks the amount of talent that has come in here with Kirsten Bell rattling off 2 wins in a row, and the same thing with Zach Rogers, and a new opponent as well with Jolene Sims. That's 3 drivers along with the other cast of characters that we've got here that are going to be very competitive for next season. Also, of course, you're going to enjoy the championship here this evening, but what's on the mind going into season number 7 here in about a month's time?
It's just pretty simple. We're going to do the same thing that we did the first 2 seasons here, and that is just put our best foot forward and just not make any mistakes. Because the thing that takes us out of contention for these championships is when we start piling up the DNFs, and that's when things start going really bad. So my entire plan is just avoid DNFs, and if I just got to settle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th place every single week, so be it. We'll just finish 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and we'll just put our best points day forward every single week. And if that ends up tallying up to 3 straight championships, then that's really awesome. If it doesn't, congratulations to whoever beat me. You damn well earned it. So, yeah, we're just going to keep putting our best foot forward. Other than Darlington, honestly, I don't think there's really any track during the next season that favors me greatly. I guess there's also New Hampshire. Darlington and New Hampshire are 2 of my better tracks. But other than that, I'm going to be honest with you, it's looking quite grim for me to pick up victories. So we're just going to take it 1 race at a time.
Hey, like you said, consistency is key, and that's the key to winning championships. Just ask Matt Kenseth and Brian France back in 2003. But switching gears to the Sportsman Series, which is going to be kicking up here this Friday night. Going to be at Auto Club, similar track to what we saw in Michigan for the season finale. Looking to go take back-to-back championships in that 100 car once again as well?
That would be really cool if we can, but again, we've got all of this new talent coming in here, and it's just straight up not going to be easy to do that. We've got a hell of a 12-race schedule to go on here. We've got, as always, we've got some fantasy tracks thrown into here. We've got some real racetracks. We've got some road courses thrown in here. Probably the most notorious track on the schedule is going to be Hillside. That was an insane race last year when we did it for Sportsman.
I've got to give you my version of Hillside, by the way. That is Hillside is tons of fun, to say the least.
Yeah, and the big thing about that Hillside that we're going to be running is that it just destroys tires.
Mm-hmm.
It absolutely destroys tires. So you can start off your run, you can basically full throttle the track. When you're done with the run, you're barely holding 150 in the corners. It is absolutely insane how much that track eats tires. But yeah, we've got kidney bean tracks, we've got road courses, we've got flat ovals, we've got banked ovals, we've got super speedways, we've got Old Spice. We've got just about everything that you can ever want in a schedule. And I'm so excited for Sportsman to come out. We've had 2 seasons back-to-back where we've had basically a flawless season. So hopefully that continues, and we just continue to churn out the bangers on Friday nights.
You certainly will. And one final question before we'll spring you loose, as always. Do you have anybody that you want to shout out? Anybody that any sponsorships you would want to thank here before we get out of Dodge?
Of course, I'll always say thank you to the sponsorship that got me the win at Pocono, 3D's Deli and Subs over there in Covington Township. If you're ever in northeastern Pennsylvania or ever in the Pocono Mountains, they're right off exit 20 on Highway 380. Get off there, go out of your way to get anything out of that kitchen. Everything is phenomenal. I can't sing their praises I can't sing their praises enough. They are absolutely phenomenal. The person that owns the place is a great guy. I know the guy, and he's awesome. So yeah, that's definitely a place to visit. And of course, I'm going to shout out all of my friends that are going to be performing at Otakon this weekend. Not this weekend, next weekend. That is the whole idle space that is going on at Otakon has a ton of really talented people. And if you're in the DC area, I definitely suggest getting at least a day pass and just checking out the idle space, because showing up to these idle concerts, There's honestly no other experience in the world like it, and I think it's something that everyone needs to experience at least once.
It certainly is, and congratulations, Apollo, for winning the championship for the second straight season, your third championship in a row here in the Fuel Racing League. You can look to keep that momentum up over these next 2 seasons of competition for both the Sportsman and the Grand National Series, but congratulations once again on winning the championship here in season number 6.
Thank you very much. We'll keep it as consistent as we can.
We absolutely will.
User was moved out of your channel.
But that is going to do it here from the Iowa Speedway. We can, nope, had the wrong thing there for a brief moment. It's not a stream on here without us fucking something up. But there is Apollo Hyde. She is the champion there in car number 1. I'm trying to get to... There we are. And finally, we're going to get some music playing here. Just trying to get some of the music playing. There we are. But that's going to do it here from the Iowa Speedway. Congratulations once again to Zach Rogers for winning the Iowa Corn 123K and to Apollo Hyde for winning the Season 6 Fuel Grand National title. And we'll do it all again this Friday night from Southern California. We're right back in the saddle, as Luke Combs said the other day. Season 3 of the Fuel Sportsman Series kicks off at the Auto Club Speedway, exclusively right here on the North American Sim Racing Network. But a huge thank you to everybody involved to make all of this possible so far for these first 5 races. I'd like to thank first and foremost Tyler Stallhood and Apollo Hyde for getting me this gig. Really great guys, and as we've seen all throughout for the Fuel Racing League. This is some of the cleanest racing that I have seen in an online NASCAR league so far here in NR2003. They've done an absolutely fantastic job. All the drivers there for the interviews, all the drivers that have been able to win. Apollo Hyde for winning the championship, Zach Rogers, Kirsten Bell, Vincenzo Focusato, and Apollo Hyde for winning races this season. Everybody that makes this possible. Xfinity Win Internet for finally fixing my Wi-Fi late last week so we could get this race streamed online, and this hopefully will be the format that we're going to get things going with. But nonetheless, like we said, we'll do it all again this Friday night at 8:30 local time. That's when pre-race will begin from SoCal, the Auto Club. However long we're running that race, probably 100 laps, or 100 miles, I should say, not 100 laps around Auto Club. But that'll be this Friday night, exclusively here on the NASRN. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. From Newton, Iowa, on behalf of the Fuel Racing League and the North American Sim Racing Network, my name is Trey Wright. Have a great evening, folks. We'll see you this Friday, for race number 1 of Sportsman Season 3, and we'll see you in a month's time for season number 7 of the Fuel Grand National Series from Darlington, South Carolina. Of course, that is then, this is now. We'll see you Friday night in Southern California. Have a great evening.